Welcome to the Lalo Show. I am your host, Lalo. So, in light of the Diddy case, I had an idea. I had an epiphany, right? That's pretty loud. Yeah, I had an epiphany about all the scandals that went on. There's my camera right there. All the scandals that went on, before the Diddy case, when it comes to Hollywood and the Me Too movement. So stay with me now. A lot has happened since people like R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, the list goes on. And of course, we have Diddy at this moment in time. And a lot of them are coattail incidents that happened after the Me Too movement started. So I decided to come up with a series where it kind of goes over these cases. And it's not me taking sides or anything, just kind of explaining how all of this began and how Hollywood is beginning to fall and the dark secrets of Hollywood. So I named it, Hollywood's Dark Secret Scandals That Shook the Industry. All right, first of all, I need you to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button. This is the Lalo Show, and we're going to get started. Before we get into it, let me shout out to some of my sponsors. This sponsor right here is Underworld Status Unlimited Multimedia. Shout out to them. And you can look them up on underworldstatus.com. They're all over the internet. You probably never heard of them, but that's coming actually when it comes to most multimedia companies. And what they do is they help with branding, especially when it comes to media sales, international services, e-commerce, all type of stuff. You go to their website and you go to the services menu, and you can see all of these services, festivals, tours, concerts. They're actually helping me with my film festival this year. And they actually have been a sponsor since my first film festival. So we have a great relationship when it comes to, at least my film festival. Ethnic marketing, that's a good, they got a lot of packages. So go check them out. Underworld Status, Multimedia, Unlimited. Shout out to them. All right. Before we get started, let's get started. Let's talk about Harvey Weinstein. All right, so in May of 2018, Harvey Weinstein was arrested. And he was accused of several questionable acts when it comes to women. Let's go over a little bit of it. This is the Harvey Weinstein sexual abuse cases on Wikipedia. I'm not stamping Wikipedia as a reliable source, but we're just going to go over it. All right, on October 2017, New Yorker reported that dozens of women had accused American film producer Harvey Weinstein of the R word, the SA word, and another SA word over a period of 32 years. Well, 30 years. Over 80 women in the film industry eventually accused Weinstein of such acts. Weinstein himself denied any non-consensual acts. Shortly after he was dismissed from the Weinstein Company, which I assume is a film company. Yes, it's a film company. Expelled from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, which is basically the Oscars. and other professional associations and retired from public view. Okay. So when he got these accusations, he ultimately just retired from the film industry as a film producer. Of course, people like the Oscars or the Academy, they don't want to be associated with people who have had these type of accusations put upon them. But we're going to dig deeper into all that. Criminal investigations into complaints from at least 6 women took place in Los Angeles, New York City, and London. In May 2018, Weinstein was arrested in New York and charged with rape and other offenses. In 2020, he was found guilty of rape, I can't say that word, of the R word in the 3rd degree and criminal SA, and sentenced to 23 years in prison. But that conviction was overturned on appeal in 2024 because of procedural errors. However, a new trial was allowed. Weinstein was sentenced to 16 more years after being convicted in Los Angeles of 1 count of R word and 2 counts of SA, which he has also appealed. All right. Whew. Well, let's get into this Weinstein, man. Let's see what was going on during that time.
Breaking news just moments ago, a few seconds ago, Harvey Weinstein surrendered to police here in New York City. That's the shot just moments ago, downtown Manhattan. He is turning himself in on some type of felony charge, we believe, related to accusations of sexual misconduct.
Wow. So this was 7 years ago when he was arrested and charged of all these SA crimes in New York. And just imagine after 30 years of being in the film industry and doing the same things over and over. And I'm not saying he's not guilty. I'm not saying he is guilty. But just imagine being so used to doing the same things over and over again. And then 30 years later, you get arrested for it when you thought it was normal. Just think about that. But, all right, let's go into...
Breaking news, Harvey Weinstein has been found guilty of 1 sex crime charge, not guilty on another, and no verdict on the rape charge. Let's try. But what's going on? We can speak to our North America correspondent, Neda Taufik. Hi, Neda. Just talk us through what's happened in court.
But also a new 3rd accuser in this second case. Nevertheless, though, we have seen the jury deliberating over 5 days. And during those 5 days, there has been a lot of tension. In fact, there have been reports that the 4-person on the jury actually complained to the judge about some of the tactics being used by other jurors to try to change the minds of others, bringing in some evidence, for example, that wasn't part of the case. And Weinstein's attorneys actually tried to move for a mistrial, but the judge just reminded jurors that they had to look solely at the evidence in this case.
Yeah, so Weinstein, he went through a hell of a process, a hell of a judicial process, I must say, when it came to these accusations. And I don't think I remember any of the women being revealed who made these claims. If I'm wrong, somebody send me the link so I can post it up. But I don't remember the women coming forth. But I will say this, right? This was the moment when the Me Too movement started, all right? So the creator of the Me Too movement, Tarana Burke, she's the one who basically started the Me Too movement.
Former movie mogul. It said the trial of Harvey Weinstein will face a new trial sometime after Labor Day weekend. Last week, the highest court in New York overturned a 2020 rape conviction against the...
Yeah, so his conviction was in 2020 and it got overturned in appeal.
former movie mogul. It said the trial judge had made a mistake and should not have allowed testimony from women who made allegations for which Weinstein was not charged. Weinstein remains behind bars because of another.
So that means that those women were able to get on the stand and talk about incidents that he was not charged of. So that opened up the door for an appeal. So that's how he got back into the court on appeal. And that's how he ultimately won the appeal, because you're not allowed to bring in incidents or accusations, which basically takes the jury of things that he was never charged with.
Another rape conviction in Los Angeles in 2022.
All right, so let's get into Tarana Burke. This is Tarana Burke. She is the founder of the Me Too movement. Now, why is she important? Well, she is important because she is the one who created the movement that ultimately took down or brought situations and accusations towards people like Harvey Weinstein, R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, Michael Jackson. Well, I ain't gonna say Michael Jackson because Michael Jackson's his was long before. Of course, Diddy and a host of other people, Johnny Depp. She's the founder of the Me Too movement.
It felt like getting my message right in this moment was more important than anything. And so I searched and searched for days on end, trying to find the right configuration of words. And although intellectually I could bullet point the big ideas that I wanted to share about Me Too and this movement that I founded.
So yeah, again, she is the founder of the Me Too movement. So shouts out to her. And this really is something that affects me dearly. Not affects me, but touches me dearly. For one, I have daughters, and I would never do anything to hurt them physically. Now, I might hurt their feelings, but I would never do anything to hurt my daughters physically or any other people's daughters. Let's just put it that way. All right, so but I have been put in that position behind a Me Too movement before. And I ain't gonna lie, man, it really upset me because of what I just said before that I would never do anything to harm a woman or a black woman, not physically. Like I've never, domestic abuse or whatever, I've never done that, no physical. Now I argued and, raised my voice a little bit here and there, of course. But of course, they've done it to me as well. That's the only way you can get me to that point, is if you doing it to me. So I've done it. But who hasn't argued in a relationship or a marriage? But what really chapped my hide is when a woman actually goes to the judicial system and tells them that I've done something that I didn't do. That really ticks me off. You know what I mean? Like, and what makes it even worse is the way the judicial system is set up, they're allowed to do that. Well, men are allowed to do it too. They can go in there and tell lies on a woman, but I don't see men running to the courts, doing that on a regular basis, but I do see women doing it. And I think personally some laws need to change where we still are able to protect these women, but women can't just go to a courthouse and just claim somebody did something and there's no physical proof of that whatsoever, just going off of he say or well actually she say, and then charge them with it. So I don't think that's fair in the judicial system, but it's a lot of things that aren't fair that need to be changed. But I think that's one of the things, because there's good men out here and a lot of women that will try to bring down a good man just because they don't want to be tied to them anymore, or they don't like the way that man talked to them, or just crazy reasons that for them to make up stories and then run down to the courthouse. Yeah, I don't think that's fair. So, but kudos to Tarana Burke for creating the movement, but I think it's time to restructure the actual movement because me personally, I was affected when it happened to me, but I wasn't affected to the point where I got to go to trial and courts and getting locked up for it because it wasn't true. So I will say that things are getting better because when it came to me, people did their homework. People actually did investigations and I assume they found out it wasn't true because nobody said anything to me about it. But I'm still kind of fighting here and there, to win some of my rights back because of the accusation. Because I lost a lot of things. I lost money. I lost my home. I lost cars. I didn't lose my freedom. I didn't lose my life. But there are stories of people who have. There are stories who people who taken their life because they're being accused of things. We probably would never know if it was true or not. But these things happen. People are affected. Mentally, physically. And if sometimes things aren't true, and a lot of times, I hate to say it, the false accusations are coming from women. And when you have a Me Too movement or organization set up where these women can just jump into the organizations and get support, and men don't have a counter Me Too movement, then I think there's an unfair advantage. And that's just my opinion. All right. Back to Harvey Weinstein.
Dawn Gunning, Miriam Haley, Jessica Mann, Annabella Shora, Tarale Wolf, Lauren Young.
I'm assuming these are all the women who accused of Harvey Weinstein of these accusations. So, yeah, you can rewind this or press pause and look those names up. I'm not going to look them up.
Megan Hask, Joan Iluzzi Orbon. 8 women who have changed the course of history in the fight against sexual violence. These are 8 women who pulled our justice system into the 21st century by declaring that rape is rape.
Yeah, but yeah, so Harvey Weinstein went through, he went through hell. I'm going to be honest with you. And like I said, not that I'm taking up for him, and because I don't know if he did it or not. I wasn't there, but I don't think the entire Me Too movement is credible when it comes to these type of cases. Now again, that's Harvey Weinstein. I don't know his story. Well, you're watching this story with me at the same time, but this is the series. All right. Hollywood Uncovered. The scandals that shook Hollywood. All right, we have Harvey Weinstein. Now let's go to, that's Harvey Weinstein. I'm not going to make these episodes too long. We're going to go ahead and jump into episode 2, which is, hold on. Who's got episode? Y'all give me a second. Let me see. I got my whole criteria over here. Who's episode 2? Diddy. I think we already did Diddy. So I don't know if I'm going to do a second one on Diddy or not. Episode 2, is it Bill Cosby? I think episode 2 is Bill Cosby. Yeah. So let's get into Bill Cosby. and his accusations. That'll be episode 2. Yeah, Bill Cosby. Yeah, there we go. Bill Cosby, episode 2. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not what we want. Okay. Bill Cosby.
Two dozen women accused. Two dozen women accused.
Don Lemon, I just want to let you know I don't like you. And I'm not saying it because you work for the other team, the LGBTQ. I could care less that you gay, but I just think you're a fraud, and I just think you just be doing stuff just for money and attention. That's just my personal opinion.
Raping or assaulting them over the past 40 years. So joining me now, two of those women. Barbara Bowman alleges she was raped by Bill Cosby when she was a teenage actress, and Joan Tarshis accuses.
So you mean to tell me Bill Cosby? Now this first woman right here in the purple. Now 30 years ago, I can see it. I can see it. I can see her being involved, but I also see a little bit of freaky side in her expressions there. Like she done been around the block a few times, way before Cosby was around. So I can see her, going to some freak offs. I can see her at a freak off. Yeah, I can see that.
Cosby of raping her when she was 19. Thank you, ladies. Wish we're talking under better circumstances. You know, how are you handling this? You know, the 7 prescriptions. Joan, of Quaaludes. How are you handling this?
I'm handling it by being shocked.
7 prescriptions of Quaaludes. What the? I don't know, man. I don't know. All right.
Shocked that he admitted the truth. Finally. I mean, he lies, constantly. And the fact that he was forced into being honest, and that it was released. That's the shocking part. I was so surprised, and I want to just congratulate the judge who agreed to let the world in on this.
Did you ever think in a million years
No.
that you would be sitting here on national television talking about this, on international television?
No, never. Never. Not that that Bill Cosby admitted to getting 7 prescriptions of Quaaludes that he was giving to women to have sex with them.
Yeah. Barbara.
Yeah. Anyway, so Bill Cosby went to trial, and he lost. Let's see, Bill Cosby arrested. Like I said, these episodes gonna be pretty quick, 11 episodes or something like that. All right, Bill Cosby arrested. All right, here we go. Is it still there? Why is my stream slowing up? Okay. All right, here we go.
With aggravated indecent assault.
After years of denial and claims that the encounter was consensual, Bill Cosby for the first time faces criminal charges for the alleged sexual assault of a Pennsylvania woman. The charges coming after Andrea Constant, a former Temple University employee, accused Cosby of drugging, then assaulting her in 2004 when she visited the man she considered a friend and mentor at his Pennsylvania home.
Mr. Cosby made 2 sexual advances at her that were rejected.
Home.
Mr. Cosby.
Well, now, hold on now. Hold on. So, did Bill look like this when he made his advances at her? I don't know.
Tour at his Pennsylvania home. Man she considered a friend, assaulting her in 2004. Accused Cosby of drugging, then assaulting her in 2004 when she visited the man she considered a friend and mentor at his Pennsylvania home.
Mr. Cosby made 2 sexual advances.
The district came forward
to his advances.
Though Constant came forward in 2005, the district attorney at the time did not file charges. That same year, Constant sued Cosby, the comedian then settling for an undisclosed amount. Legal documents in that case were unsealed for the first time this past July, and the deposition made public. In it, Cosby admits giving women quaaludes, but never without their knowledge. Constant's lawyer asks Cosby, when you got the quaaludes, was it in your mind that you were going to use these quaaludes for young women that you wanted to have sex with? Cosby replies, yes. That deposition and other evidence unsealed in the civil case paved the way for a new district attorney to reinvestigate the allegations. In the criminal complaint, Constance says Cosby told her the pills were herbal, and after taking them, she lost her strength, but was aware of Cosby, quote, fondling her breasts and of his hands into her pants.
What we know is that pills were provided. There's inconsistencies on what type of pills they were. There was also wine that was provided. We then go to the reaction of the victim, frozen, paralyzed, unable to move. A person in that state cannot give consent.
Constant was the first woman to publicly come forward accusing Cosby. Since then, some 50 women have alleged similar sexual assaults over a period of 4 decades, most involving the use of drugs. Cosby has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing and even filed a countersuit against 7 women earlier this month. Cosby says their accusations hurt his reputation and derailed his plans for a new comedy show. Prosecutors are right up against the expiration of the 12-year statute of limitations for sexual assault cases in Pennsylvania, which will close early next year. Cosby could get up to 10 years in prison if convicted.
Well, we all know, or we should know, how much time, Bill Cosby got. Well, let's see how much time he got.
Will affect him once he is out of prison.
So the one big piece of information we're still waiting for, though, is the bail issue and whether he goes straight to prison or is out for a time beforehand.
And that may be for him just...
So Bill Cosby was sentenced 3 to 10 years in state prison for these charges. That sucks.
As important as the 3 to 10 years, because he will move to this judge. If this judge denies it, his lawyers will immediately...
I keep interrupting you
That's
when
okay.
you're talking about what the women want to see.
Look, I think the big thing they wanted was justice, right? And they are now, texting me and saying, yes, this is justice. And I think there's also a fight, Katie, that many of these women have been involved with since coming forward with their allegations, and many of them publicly really talking for the first time in 2014 and 2015. They now want to see the statute of limitations changed in all states. They've done so in California. They changed, there's now no longer a statute on rape moving forward. So if someone is raped, they have forever to file that criminal complaint. In many states, though, as you know,
What? Wait a minute.
File that criminal complaint. The big thing they wanted was justice, right? And they are now, texting me and saying, yes, this is justice. And I think there's also a fight, Katie, that many of these women have been involved with since coming forward with their allegations, and many of them publicly really talking for the first time in 2014 and 2015. They now want to see the statute of limitations changed in all states. They've done so in California. They changed, there's now no longer a statute on rape moving forward.
So... Woo! All right, so in the state of California, there is no statute of limitations on the R word. So if 30 years ago a man R-word a woman, allegedly, in the state of California, that woman can go to a courthouse and file a claim, at minimum a lawsuit, which we all know from the Cassie and Diddy case that a lawsuit can turn into a criminal case. Even if, who remembers everything 30 years ago? That's first of all. But after 30 years, a woman can walk into a courthouse and say that a man R-ed them. That is a bad thing. Especially if nobody died. Nobody, you know. And I'm not saying that R in a woman is a good thing either. That's very bad. I've never done it. I don't condone it. I done beat niggas up who's done it before. So that's definitely not my world. But if somebody came to me, if my sister came to me, right? And my sister, you know, I take somebody out by my sister, right? But if my sister came to me and said, "Hey man, you see that guy right there? He R-worded me 30 years ago. I remember it like it was yesterday." I'm going to look at my sister and have questions. Real talk. I got some questions, sis. You say he R-worded you 30 years ago. Why are you waiting to tell me now? I got questions. I got questions at that time. All right. Harvey Weinstein. I mean, Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby. We're on Bill Cosby right now. All right, Bill sentenced to...
Will affect him once he is out of prison. Now, when he is assessed, he could wind up in general population, which are cells of 2 people each. He could also...
Okay, so many years later...
Bill Cosby walked free.
Bill Cosby, he walked free, just like this guy just said, from prison after an appeal. This is why going to trial is always important, because you're not giving up your rights to appeal. If you plead guilty before the trial, you are giving up your right to appeal. Now, there are other things in place like 2255s, habeas corpus, and whatever that can get you back into court, possibly. But you have a stronger chance of getting...
Bill Cosby walked...
You have a stronger chance of getting in court if you don't plead guilty before the trial. And this is not just for essay cases or whatever the case may be. Like, this is any case. If you're ever charged with something, I don't care what it is, man, it's a traffic ticket. Go to trial. Go to trial, because if you lose, you still have rights to appeal, because things may happen, and 9 times out of 10, there are things that's going to happen during that trial that are not supposed to happen during a trial that could possibly get you in the court on appeal and possibly get you, freed. So my suggestion to anyone who's been accused of a crime, I mean, unless they just got you on camera doing it and your face is in HD, 4K, you committing that crime, I wouldn't suggest you, plead guilty. I suggest you go to trial. That's any crime. And this is coming from someone who's been on both sides, who's had to plead guilty, and I've also had to go to trial. And I think going to trial is always the best. I mean, I've even done traffic tickets like that. Like I got a traffic ticket for, I can't remember what it was, but it was, it was an illegal turn because there was accident involved. But I didn't illegal turn. The person in front of me, she ran the light. So I literally got I built my stuff up together, got my paperwork, and I went to court with all my paperwork, ready to go to trial for this traffic ticket. And the judge didn't want to go to court. Go to trial. She didn't want to go because I showed her exactly what I had. I was like, yeah, I got this, I got that. I have footage from the camera, from the city during that time, from the CCTV camera. I had everything that proves that this lady ran a light. I didn't illegally turn. She ran a light. And ultimately, the judge threw the whole case out. So I beat the ticket. All right, so back to Bill Cosby.
Decided not to charge the actor. Cosby then agreed to testify in a civil case, and during that admitted to giving quaaludes to a woman he was pursuing. That became key evidence in the subsequent criminal trial. The judge's ruling that should not have been used, writing, "He must be discharged, and any future prosecution on these particular charges must be barred. We do not dispute that the remedy is both severe and rare, but it is warranted here, indeed compelled."
So, Bill Cosby testified in a civil case and admitted to providing quaaludes to said woman. So, with that result, the Supreme Court, because they used that in order to convict Bill Cosby, the Supreme Court overturns the conviction because they wasn't supposed to use that. This is why you should go to trial every time. So Bill Cosby got off because he admitted to it in a whole nother court case that had nothing to do with his conviction, but they used it in order to convict him. And they wasn't supposed to do that. This is why you need to get a good lawyer anytime you charge with anything and take it to trial. So as we all know, Bill Cosby is home now. He is at home now. Let me see what we got here. My stream is running real slow today. What are we doing? What are we doing? But yeah,
news: the jury in the Bill Cosby sexual assault trial has reached a verdict. NBC's Stephanie Gosk has been covering the trial. Let's get right to her. Stephanie, we know there are 3 counts here. What do we know?
Lester, Bill Cosby has been found guilty on all 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault. Each one of these counts has up to a 10-year prison sentence. I'm going to go through each one of them for you.
So yeah, he gotten 3 to 10 years, but I think he knew he was going to get out. So shout out to Bill Cosby, man, beating them folks.
Retried on these same charges. Cannot be retried. They say he cannot be retried on these same charges. His attorneys said today
So that's called with prejudice. Without prejudice. It's either without, or is it without or with prejudice? I think it's without prejudice. Without prejudice. Without prejudice. A case dismissed with prejudice is over and done with once and for all. So this would be with prejudice. So the deal that he got in his release was with prejudice. meaning they cannot retry him for these same charges. You know, double jeopardy. So shout out to his team, man, his attorney team.
Bill Cosby came out of his house with his lawyers today, who talked to reporters there.
Look at his lawyers. Look at his attorney. Listen. Look at the graph. Man, listen. White girl, black guy, white girl, white girl. These are the people who fought to get him out. Okay? So we cannot implement race into this situation when it comes to Bill Cosby anyway.
Cosby was silent, but later gave an interview to a radio station.
This is for all the people who have been imprisoned wrongfully, regardless of race, color, or creed.
Mm-hmm.
Because I met them in there. People who talked about what happened and what they did. And I know there are many liars out there.
His accuser in this case, Andrea Constand, said she is disappointed and hopes it does not discourage other women from coming forward. In 2018, a jury convicted Cosby of 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault.
That was the basketball player. And I think this happened because she's playing for the other team right now.
Assault against Constand. Constand accused him of drugging and sexually assaulting her in his home outside Philadelphia back in 2004. Bill Cosby has denied all accusations of wrongdoing and said his contact with Constand was consensual. He served 2 years of his 3 to 10 year sentence. More than 60 women have accused Cosby of misconduct, ranging from groping to sexual assault to rape, going back decades. And at the time, the Cosby conviction was widely considered the first major win for the Me Too movement. David Henderson, now civil rights attorney, former prosecutor, CNBC contributor. David, where does this case go from here, if anywhere?
Well, Shep, I think the basic answer is nowhere. In theory, it could be appealed to the United States Supreme Court because it does involve a federal question as to the law, but the Supreme Court's very unlikely to take this case up because it largely circles around state law. So I think that this is it. Bill Cosby's not going to face prosecution.
It's likely shocking for many in the public to read on social media it was. Were you surprised?
I am surprised because basically the court carved out a new rule, which means that when a prosecutor makes a public statement that he's not going to prosecute an individual, that is equivalent to a deal for immunity. Because if you look at this 79...
So, yeah, we all know what happened with Bill Cosby. He's home now. He's enjoying life. I wonder what Bill Cosby doing right now. Bill Cosby now. Let's see what Bill Cosby got going on. This was a month ago. Yeah, we
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're examining the life of Bill Cosby allegations and legal battles. Additionally, in June 2023, 9 women filed a lawsuit accusing him of using his fame to commit sexual assaults. Cosby and his wife's family and personal interests catered to convicted felon.
Yeah, these are AI. I don't know. It's probably hard to come up with or figure out what Bill Cosby is doing today because he's been out of the media, out of public view since his release. So I don't know. This is day one.
Bill Cosby feasting on pizza as fury erupts over his shocking release. While the world's press looked on, Cosby's right-hand man, Andrew Wyatt, opened the gates of Cosby's estate near Philadelphia for this exclusive look at what Cosby is doing on his first full day of freedom.
Yeah, so he's just quiet, and I don't blame him. He's quiet and out of the way. I don't blame him at all. So, yeah, so that's the story of Bill Cosby. We may get deeper into Bill Cosby later on into these episodes But let's move on to episode 3, which is R. Kelly episode 3? Who is on episode 3? Yep, it's R. Kelly. R. Kelly. R. Kelly. So let's get into these accusations on R. Kelly. All right, so again, this is the series. This is a live we're doing right now, but I'm gonna break these episodes up, so you'll be able to go to the page and check those out. Of each individual that we talked about. We've already talked about Harvey Weinstein. We're just finishing up with Bill Cosby, and next we got R. Kelly. But before we get into that, I want to stop for a moment, and I want to speak about my sponsors. Now, right here we have Shoot Your Shot Film Festival. I am the founder of Shoot Your Shot Film Festival. The film festival will be this year, September the 20th and 21st in Atlanta. We are doing it online this year. So shout out to Eventive for helping me out with a lot of this preparation. Shout out to Underworld Status for helping me out for this preparation. Shout out to Valora, my other sponsors, the Drunken Bunny. I'm sorry. The Drunken Bunny brand. But this is Shoot Your Shot Film Festival right here. This is my film festival. This is my baby. I started this in 2021, and there are quite a few people, filmmakers, especially here in the state of Georgia, that were involved and helped me along the way. And I love my people. I love my team. I love my filmmakers. And we all got together and we did something big, which is Shoot Your Shot Film Festival, which we will continue to do. This was actually my first year down at the atrium of Shoot Your Shot Film Festival. And that young lady right there is one of my one of my good friends for years. Melissa, I love you, Melissa. She is one of the people who helped me put this together and helps me keep it together. She works in the nonprofit world of things, so shout out to Melissa. And this is an image from one of my film festivals. Actually, this is the first one. And this was my panel of filmmakers. And this guy right here, you know, Diedrich. This is my guy, Diedrich. He works in cybersecurity. And he is responsible for protecting films. So he's one of the guys that, you know, that keeps your film from being bootlegged or whatever, and he can help find your money if it is bootleg and, you know, you have money out there. He can help you find out. So shout out to Dietrich. So yeah, that's my film festival, Shoot Your Shot Film Festival. All you have to do, and I'm gonna show you how to do it right now. Go to Google and type in Shoot Your Shot Film Festival right here. And everything you need to know about the film festival will pop up. Okay? And the first link is this one right here. Wait a minute, what is this? What is the video here? I don't remember seeing this video.
We're going to say trust issues on 3. You can count them down. Trust issues! Alright, so on 3 this time, we'll say Shoot Your Shot Film Festival. Shoot Your Shot Film Festival. Alright, on 3. Shoot Your Shot Film Festival.
Man, shout out to Macon, Georgia, man. Down in Macon, Georgia, man, those my brothers, man. Those my brothers and sisters out there in Macon, Georgia. Now, back in 2013, I did a documentary. Okay. Now we're gonna take a little quick break to talk about some of the stuff that I did. But back in 2013, I did a documentary, and it was in Macon, Georgia. It was called One City, One Sound, right? And it was basically the story of Macon, Georgia, and their background. And because when I went down there, I noticed there was a lot of talent in Macon, Georgia. So, you know, I was on a run with my film. So I was just trying to shoot any and everything, right? And I'm looking for this clip. But when I went down there, I noticed it was more going on than I expected. So I just pulled out my camera and I started shooting everything, and everybody paused. And I'm looking for this video I want to show y'all, but I don't know if it's on here or not. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm tripping. But Macon, Georgia is full of talent. I will say that. And they caught the bug, the filmmaker's bug, from me. I mean, it was people down there already doing their thing. Don't get me wrong, but I know that I made a major impact in Macon, Georgia. Like this was the documentary I shot down in Macon, Georgia.
That's only if it's the Lord will, though, man, you know. But we really are moving high class and homeless. We forgot about you, nigga, you know what I'm saying?
Now, this is 2012, right? This is, mind you, this is before Tyler Perry built his studios. I don't think Mama Dia was even big at this moment right now. But this is before Tyler Perry did his built his studio. This is before Tubi TV. Okay. And we were down there shaking and baking and making documentaries, shooting videos, the whole nine. So, and I appreciate the city embracing me, you know, because I went up by myself. I don't roll with no crews, no squad. You know, if I can't go by myself, I don't need to be there. That's how I am, right? And you know, I grew up in these streets, so you know, going to Macon, Georgia is a walk in the park for me. These are my people. That's how I feel.
South ENT, Miss Sharon, oh my goodness. That morph, you know what I'm saying? That morph, Miss Sharon is morph to the music shit. We really respect Miss Sharon, man, you know what I'm saying? For sure.
But this is called One City, One Sound, and it will be released on Tubi TV soon. So y'all be on the lookout for that. All right. All right, so let's talk about R. Kelly. Okay. R. Kelly. Moving on to R. Kelly.
Moments ago, R. Kelly was sentenced to 30 years in prison. This is a significant outcome for all victims of R. Kelly, and especially for the survivors who so bravely testified about the horrific and sadistic abuse they endured. R. Kelly is a predator, and as a result of our prosecution, he'll serve a long jail sentence for his crimes. With the aid of his fame, his money, and most importantly, his inner circle, R. Kelly preyed upon children and young women for his own sexual gratification for decades. He used coercive control, exemplified by a pattern of isolation.
Now, I ain't gonna lie, right? I ain't gonna lie. I saw the R. Kelly tape, okay? Now, initially, I thought it was just a regular, XXX tape, because during this time when this tape was released, right? In court, he's the one that actually had something to do with the tape being released. But anyway, when I saw the tape, I just thought it was just a regular tape, because it was on VCR tape. The bootleggers had it, right? And this is back when you could walk down the street and there was a guy set up, had a long table with all the movies that you want to see on this table. He was the guy that might go watch the movie in the theaters and had a recorder down here in his lap, and he records the entire movie in his lap, right? Nobody can see him, see what he's doing. A week later, that movie is streamed or sent out across the country, through this African system that controls the bootleg scene. But anyway, when I saw the video, and I was like, nah, this ain't R. Kelly. I thought it was just some bull crap. But it was R. Kelly. And I'm talking about, I saw the full video. Like when he was eating the booty and all, I seen all that scene. Pause. And then, but this is what really took me out. I ain't even gonna lie. This is what really took me out. You see, I knew people in R. Kelly's camp. And at the time, during that year, I was rapping. So I actually went to Chicago and visited R. Kelly's home. True story. Now, when I went to the home, we played. He had a basketball court in his house, so we played basketball and everything. But also, I went to this. There was a room, and it was like a. I want to say it was like a small. You know how the Playboy Mansion is, got the pool with the rocks in there. It was like a small version of that. It was like, and it was inside. And, I remember the room. I remember how it looked. I sat in certain places. But when I seen the video, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I've been in that room. So one of those rooms I had been in, and I remember like it was yesterday. So when R. Kelly, and I do remember that the girl did seem to be a little young. I mean, I was still young too when I saw the video. This was in the 90s. And I was still young too myself. So I didn't really see it at that time, but I did. I was like, wait a minute, she kind of look a little bit, young. But I just thought nothing of it because, girls be looking old these days. And some girls, they look young, but they be old. So I really never, thought about it. But I will say this. If they use that tape, but I don't think they use that. I don't think they use that. So I ain't gonna say that. And I'm not gonna try to say anything that's gonna mess up his chances of getting home. But we will talk about the case. Let's get into it. All right. So R. Kelly was convicted and sentenced to 30 years.
Rules, dependence, threats, intimidation tactics, physical abuse, and at least once the presence of a gun to force victims, including minors, to
a gun? I don't remember. Y'all remember a gun being involved in all this? I don't remember a gun being involved. Am I tripping?
Went above the guidelines range.
I don't know about no gun. I ain't know nothing about that. Let me see.
I was pleased that the judge agreed with our guidelines range. Less pleased that he went above the guidelines range. But ultimately, running the sentence concurrent and just basically adding 1 year to what he actually serves. And that is a win in our view, and it's the right outcome.
Okay, so she's obviously, a supporter of the Me Too movement, and shout out to her. But this is a sad situation, and I think, to be honest with you, I think R. Kelly may have just been a victim of his environment. Especially when you know certain things about R. Kelly, like we all know he can't read, so when you come up in an environment, especially and you have a disability like you can't read, you kind of get slipped in or wrapped into situations that may not be good for you, especially for who you are and what you represent. But you may see other people doing these things, so you kind of get into it too, but you probably make a lot of mistakes along the way because they're not doing the way you're doing it. And I think R. Kelly may be a victim of that, just kind of following other people's footsteps that are in the industry. Because he ain't the first to do whatever he did. But he's definitely one of them who's been caught. And I just think it's a sad situation, to be honest with you. Let me see what else we got here on R. Kelly, man. And he's also appealed. R.
Kelly's racketeering and sex trafficking convictions, along with a 30-year prison sentence, were upheld Wednesday by a federal appeals court that concluded the singer exploited his fame for over a quarter-century to sexually abuse girls and young women. The Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Manhattan ruled Wednesday after hearing arguments last March. The Grammy-winning multi-platinum selling R&B songwriter was convicted in 2021 in Brooklyn Federal Court of multiple charges, including racketeering and sex trafficking.
So, R. Kelly did get the racketeering charge, which is the same thing that Diddy was accused of. Man, I don't know, man. This is the problem. This is the thing, right? Some of this stuff has to happen in order to break down the evil that runs Hollywood. I'm sorry. There's too many people, talented people in here that ain't with all that shit that these people be doing, and it's not that it's not what they be doing, because it be their business. If you want to commit crimes, that's your problem. That's something you got to deal with. If you don't get caught in this world, you will get caught in the afterlife. So that's just something you got to deal with. But some of us, especially when it comes to Hollywood, are trying to get in this industry the right way and just want to make good content and show our capabilities to the world without having to go through all this casting couch bullshit. Man, listen. Your sexual preference is your business. If you are a man that likes men, I don't need to know that. Because I'm not in that circle. That's your circle. I'm minding my business. I'm just here to produce a film. That's it. If you're, and this is to my Hollywood execs. If you play for the other teams, the LGBTQ RNA teams, that's your business. I don't care. I play for this team, but this ain't the same stadium. We not in the stadium trying to play each other. We in a whole different stadium trying to get money together. So if you work for that team, hey, that's on you. But can we get some money together real quick? You know what I mean? We ain't got to hang out. We ain't got to go to the club. We ain't got to take pictures. We ain't got to do none of that. We definitely ain't doing no parties. Huh? We definitely not doing no private party. I don't do no party in no way. I may attend a party, but I'm not throwing nothing. Right? I'm a very private person. But can we just make money in the industry without you blocking me because I don't go that way? And you think because I don't go that way that I don't like you or I don't like people like you? People like you. That's crazy how I go from saying that blacks feel disrespected on a tool. But anyway, just because I don't associate with your circle, which is your private business, which is your sexual preference should not even be in the public's eye. Real talk. If you like the same sex, that is your business. And that also goes for women too. Now, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't got no issues with a woman and a woman. You know what I mean? I'll watch that all day. But a man and a man, I'm not saying it's wrong or nothing. I'm just saying that ain't my thing. I'm sorry, that's not my thing. But at the end of the day, that is what you do, or that is the preference that you have behind closed doors. It has nothing to do with business. It has nothing to do with if we gonna do a deal or not. It has nothing to do with how much I should make off of this movie or this album. That should have nothing to do with it. Why I got to give up my manhood just to get a deal. And a lot of these young cats is coming into the game, they giving up their manhood just for a deal. And I think that is not only sad, but I don't think it's fair either. So, but with that being said, man, I'm gonna kill this live, this R. Kelly live, and let me see who's up next. In the next stream, we'll be talking about who we got up next. Let me see. Who's next? We already got R. Kelly. We did Harvey Weinstein. Next is, I was gonna do Diddy next, but I think we're gonna do Michael Jackson next because that's gonna be a long one. All right, so yeah, tap in, tune in. This is the Laylo Show. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, hit the notification bell, man, and tap in because we coming back to back on this one. It is the Hollywood Scandal, man. It's up. Peace, love, and light.